We have just received a massive warning from the jobs report. Trump said that those job numbers that were released showing the biggest drop since COVID were faked by a Biden appointee, and he has just ordered her, the Commissioner of Labor Statistics, to be fired immediately. In which case, if this is true, will have major implications on how the market reacts following the news. We also saw tariffs flow back in. It's almost as if we are seeing a repeat of March of this year. And then we're also seeing war. Trump moved nuclear submarines in response to Russia's highly provocative statement. And then finally, fear and greed index dropping completely away from extreme fear, more closer from extreme greed, more closer to extreme fear. Now sitting at a 47 out of 100, with the VIX spiking as well, up 23%, trading at 2057, coming very close to what I would call the danger zone at 2352, where markets panic and overreact. We actually have a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm going to kind of ping pong. Normally I have all the tabs laid out as to what I want to talk about in order, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to go about doing this. Watch until the end of the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn post notifications on. Let's get into it, guys. Obviously, we are in a very, very important part of the market. If you're making money, congratulations. If you're not making money, pay very close attention. The market is overreacting, or reacting at least. In my opinion, here's what we're looking at, right? We're looking at a very overbought market. We're looking at a market that has all of the positive news that could possibly be priced into it. We are now seeing the first numbers that are showing that the positive news that was priced into the market is not so positive, right? So the markets are not only overreacting, but taking that overreaction to the upside out of the picture. So heavy profit taking is what is happening on the market, and we are seeing outflows continue to come out. We also saw $805 million liquidated from cryptocurrency in just 24 hours, which is almost $1 billion, and that has not slowed down. That was at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard this morning, and we are still continuing to see that rise. How do I want to start this off? One, let's start this off with the SPY. 622.34. We're down 1.54% on the day. This is the 4-hour time frame. We faked to the upside, kind of got a bull trap above 640, and now we have sold off through our zone we tested multiple times, crashed under, gap below our next zone right around 630 to 628.50. And we have entered our third retracement zone, which is between 623.20 and 620.75. Where is the SPY going to go from here? Well, first of all, the monthly candle looks very bearish on the SPY. The monthly candle is now done. It's closed. It had a high upper wick, and then the beginning of this monthly candle is now forming. I will state that looking back at the candle, it's not that bad, but what we see is exhaustion. So if we see the beginning of August really kind of flash down on the SPY, which is what we're seeing, and volume come in, which is what we're seeing, then we see a major turning point possible, a major possible turning point that could be a very fast one for the market, because buyers are just exhausted. And the fact that we see buyers exhausted at the same exact time as very negative news for the market poses for something like this flash down straight from 640 straight to 620, and that's exactly what we're seeing. As far as where the SPY is going to go from here, well, we broke below some key support levels. We are printing a bearish sort of setup coming into August, but I don't think it's completely bearish just yet. Hear me out. There's some things that we have to watch for, some things that we have to pay attention to. How is this capital allocation going to rotate? One, if we see a healthy pullback on the SPY, I would aim for 606.50. This also comes at key order block levels, and if we sell off even further and we flash down, 592.75 to 593. Again, that would be a much further drop, but still not putting us in a bear market or a 10% correction, which is very possible. That would only be a 7% correction. Okay, so keep that in mind. We could go sub 600 if markets decide to overreact. I believe we are, based on the momentum to the downside, going to break below the 50 EMA, which is at 612, okay? And we're still at 622. Again, I could be very wrong. This is front running the overreaction of the SPY, so be very careful if you are trading this. However, let's jump into a couple of things that I want to point out. Ethereum. This might be random to bring out in the video. Like I said, we're ping-ponging back and forth. Ethereum ETF inflows are still skyrocketing. Tons of money is flowing into Ethereum ETFs, and Ethereum is at this point where, and this goes for Bitcoin too. Bitcoin saw a sell-off, a break out of this wedge, and it looks like, in my opinion, easy short down to 112,000. I would probably leverage short this if I had time to. That goes with me saying, I'm sorry, the video is going up extremely late today. I had some family business to cover this morning. I didn't get to trade. I didn't get to talk to Discord. I didn't get to make an early video like normal. But we see that the Bitcoin also tested the red range, which is the overbought, you could call it. However, the previous cycles, we went much higher into that. We can't even break into it right now. There's just so much selling pressure and profit taking. However, we are also in a very, very long consolidation phase, which we haven't seen since the first cycle of Bitcoin, which was the most powerful cycle. So what am I trying to say here? Well, if Ethereum in the middle part of this cycle, this blue cycle, which we peaked right here, middle part of the cycle, which we peaked right here, and the middle part of the cycle, which we could possibly be peaking right here. Okay, if Ethereum is not going to peak out right here, which there's not signs that it is, which is odd, then we could be actually seeing a this time is different sort of setup. I don't want to push that on people, and I'm going to state a couple things right now. Altcoins. We'll take Bonk as the example. I got kicked out of these positions. It broke below something I wasn't willing to hold lower for. I don't want to bag hold for 4 years again, or whatever it is. And that's not to say Bonk, right? Bonk, you don't really bag hold. It just comes back to highs and is very volatile, probably easy to trade. This is a beautiful weekly candle if we get this close above 4027. If Ethereum is not over, which it doesn't look like it, altcoins are going to get a lot of capital flowing into them. Also, SPY. This brings me into SPY as well. What has to happen for altcoins, for small cap stocks to squeeze, rally higher? Something I also didn't point out, RSI very oversold on the 4 hour. If we see a little bit of a bounce, that is okay. We are also at heavy support. Expect a little bit of a bounce off of 618, probably to bring us to retest this channel at 626.85. Here's what has to happen, right? The SPY can sell off for X amount of days, for however long, okay? Once it is exhausted on the trend down, or in other words, ready to bottom, that is when things start to squeeze. So as soon as things start to squeeze, expect the SPY bottomed, right? Institutions are about to flow back in. Shorts are about to cover. This is what happens. It happens every single time. I mean, you could see it historically. April 2025, same thing. We'll take GameStop, for example. Following that, we squoze up to 38. We had heavy buying. I mean, you look at April of last year, end of April 22nd, the market decided that it was okay. It was time to bottom off of about a 6% correction. What did GameStop do that same time frame? Well, end of April, things started to squeeze, right? We saw a move from $9 to $65. And this goes with altcoins as well. Let the SPY sell off. If you're not in, or if you want to play it, by all means, do whatever you want. I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Speaking of that, these two yellow spots right here, we actually ended up calling out puts on the SPY at these exact moments in the Discord server, and I can post screenshots right here. First of all, I'm not taking credit for this. The people in Discord have been holding it down. Not me, not myself. They are holding it down in there. I've been slacking, and they are making money. So if you guys aren't in the Discord, I don't know what you're doing. We're about to go crazy in the Discord pretty soon. The dollar getting a little bit of a rise, but down 1% today. We got to pay very close attention to the other things, the macro things, the macro environment, how it affects our markets. We have to look at gold. Gold's going higher. Bitcoin selling off. Dollar selling off. U.S. 1-year treasuries down 5%. Something odd is happening. Now, I have to give credit to the Ultimator over on X. Generally, and this just brings me into the charts, the U.S. 1-year Treasury government bonds, right, plays inverse GameStop. And this is a picture perfect chart to show that and showcase that. Today, we have seen and I can even show you on the weekly time frame, another beautiful way to showcase that, right? Now let's remove GameStop and look at what happened today. This is what's happening, which we believe we have been on the verge of a very, very large GameStop move here. And I think it's just a quiet before the storm sort of setup. Can we flash lower? I mean, it's possible, but on that weekly chart, we came exactly to where we called out on GameStop to base at about 22 to 22.10. We came all the way down to 21.97, 21.98, somewhere around that region. So again, we are at the setup that we expected, except the market is finally flushing to the downside. In my opinion, this is all good. I like this sell-off, okay? The way things were going didn't give people time to position and play the trend. And this also decides that it's time for volatility to come in. This is also what August brings. It's going to be a fun month. I know this video is all over the place. I'm kind of talking about this, kind of talking about that. How do you connect them? How do you correlate them? Well, volatility for August. Number one, volatility. That is good. Same thing correlated to the S&P 500. This is giving for people who want it buying opportunities. Nobody wanted to buy the SPY at 640. If you wanted to buy the SPY at 640, you probably shouldn't be in the market. Unless obviously you have it like auto set up. Okay, so volatility is coming in. We are getting a correction. When prices decide that they want to bottom, this gives retail also the opportunity on alongside institutions to buy in. When will that happen? We don't know. As far as speculation goes, will it happen sooner than later, or are we in a deeper crash? Well, inflows into crypto, as well as gold, kind of state that there is a very odd sentiment happening. So even if you wanted to speculate if the markets were going to go into a deeper sell-off, you can't really do so until we get the September Fed meeting. So we ultimately, people are going to attempt to position accordingly in August, but there's a lot of uncertainty in the air. And as of right now, going solely off of uncertainty, because you very much so can't pick up or down or when it's going to bottom, I would go more so risk off, more so a deeper correction. How deep? Well, I don't really know. Maybe we could bounce at 620 and we could only get that 2 to 3% correction. I don't think that's healthy enough. I think at minimum we get a 6% correction, right around 606.50 to 600 even. I think 600 even, fill this gap, would be a perfect time for the SPY to slingshot higher, as well as it wouldn't take too long, right? We went from 640 to 620 in a day, and we could go very well from 620 to 600 in a day or two, which would mean that we could be on the verge of bouncing off of the 50 or the 200 EMA on the SPY on the daily, coming back higher, and things getting a sort of squeeze. Again, how do you connect them all? I don't want to ramble too long. This is just the outlook. I'm sure honestly, I normally don't really want weekends, but I want this weekend. And the reason being is because it feels like you need to take a deep breath in these markets. There's so much happening. And once the weekend comes, we can actually, do a deep dive, evaluate, and connect what we're needing to connect. And I'm sure there's something I am personally missing. It's been a bit busy morning. I'm sure there's some things you guys are thinking about that I am personally missing a step to put into the video. But if you're making money, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're going to join the Discord, let me know in the comments down below, because I would love to have you guys join the family. I also want to talk about one quick thing, Palantir. A lot of stocks are selling off. Palantir isn't. And that is because Palantir just landed a massive $10 billion U.S. Army deal to streamline military software contracts over the next decade. Huge for Palantir. January 16th, 2026 leaps, probably not a bad idea in my personal opinion. I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I assume you're paper trading or just not listening to me. Also, Figma, the IPO, be careful. That thing ran like crazy, beautiful. Is it basing for another move? It's possible, but again, remember to use stop losses. Also, there's normally with these stocks, they have either a lockup period where insiders can't sell for a specific amount of time, in which case I didn't look into it. I don't know how long that is, or maybe they don't have a lockup period. But just be careful because a lot of insiders for these IPOs, especially one this popular, probably have a lot of people ready to hit the sell button, and that thing can kind of get rug pulled. Is there anything else that I wanted to cover or talk about? Will I re-enter my bonk position? That is a question that I struggle with my head. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm gonna figure out what sentiment is happening. Again, I want to watch number one weekly close. Where are we gonna weekly close? Following that, then I'll lean more bullish or bearish. Following that, I am gonna take a look at other altcoins, take a look at when rotation is gonna start, all that other stuff, and I'll let you guys know in Discord and then YouTube, all that other stuff. Yeah. Discord, top link in the description. I'll also pin it in the top of comments down below. Am I buying more stocks, singular stocks, because like AMD's falling and plenty of other stocks? Apple did bad on earnings. We got cooked on that. Yes, I am buying large amounts. No, I'm buying small amounts here. I'd like to get more AMD ahead of earnings this upcoming week. AMD and Palantir, I believe, both report next week, which is going to be huge. And then AMC is coming up as well, I believe, the following week. Overall, that is it, guys. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't know how long this video is going on for, but enjoy the rest of your weekend. I love you all. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.